I'm James Swanwick. This is the Alcohol-Free Lifestyle Podcast, where you learn to live a life of health, wealth, love, and happiness. Welcome to the show. I am James Swanwick. I am in a London restaurant with two of our Project 90 graduates who are both more than 2 years alcohol-free. I'm with Christian and Evan, and both of these wonderful gentlemen have been guests on the podcast previously, and I'll draw your attention to those episodes a little later on so you can go back and have a listen to them. But we're in, where are we in? What's the name of this hotel we're in, guys? We're in the Fitzrovia Hotel, I think it is. What is it? What's it called?
Fitzrovia.
The Fitzrovia Hotel in central London. And we just had a wonderful dinner. And let me introduce you to Christian. Christian, how you doing?
I'm very well, thank you very much. And just want to say to everybody that it is 2 years without any alcohol, and I've loved every minute of it. Not only that, it's just taken me on a journey where I'm really exploring not only myself but the world as well, and it's fantastic.
Amazing. And I'll let you guys know which episode you can listen to, which features Christian. It talks about sailing across the ocean as a tribute to his lovely late wife, Jilly. And I'll reference that episode in just a moment. I'm also here with Evan Melcher, who has been on the podcast, I think, a couple times, Evan, right? I think so.
You say so.
I think so. You've been on the show a couple times. Where are you from? Tell us a little bit about you and your alcohol-free journey.
Yeah, James, I'm 2 years alcohol-free, 4th of July of this year. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, so I'm across the pond doing a little football excursion, both American football and real football, I guess you would say. Go Spurs. It's been an incredible 2 years. As I was reflecting to you earlier, I've become a better father, a better husband, a better colleague for the people I work with. And my life has changed for the better, all because of you and Project 90. So thank you.
Of course, you're so welcome. And I'll just ask you, just before I let you guys go, and then I'll continue on doing a solo episode. Christian, what has been the biggest surprising, impactful thing that has happened to you as a result of being alcohol-free?
Well, it's a complicated question to ask, but for me, the biggest impact that I had in my life was my wife dying. And I had to face my life with 4 children and reinvent myself. With alcohol, it was like an anchor just dragging me down. And the biggest impact is releasing that anchor, and I've come to the surface. And for the first time, I breathed in life, oxygen. And that's opened up a whole new world to me. And that's what it is, life without alcohol.
Amazing. And Evan?
Wow. Can you repeat the question? Because I was so entranced with that response.
What's been the most impactful benefit of being more than 2 years alcohol-free now?
Well, I think it's hard to kind of narrow them down. Honestly, James, my business has done better than I have ever. My relationship with my children has been significantly improved. I've been able to focus on quality experiences with them that we'll remember for the rest of our lives, and I'm not numbing out with alcohol like I was before. And then my relationship with my wife, Jennifer, has never been stronger. I've used to take medication for anxiety. I don't have to do that anymore. I'm more comfortable in my own skin. So life has changed all around for the better.
So good. Thank you for sharing that. And just for the listeners' benefit, what did we drink tonight?
I had a delicious mocktail followed by some sparkling water and lime.
Christian?
I had a glass of wine. No, just joking. Elderflower fizzy waters, delicious, lovely.
And you were saying before that over the last couple of years that you've been alcohol-free, you have at times felt somewhat hesitant to share with others that you are alcohol-free, but decreasingly so. Is that true?
Yeah, it is. It was something, I'm very English, and we keep everything quite quiet and private. So now, as I go down the road of 2 years, people are asking me more questions because they can see I'm a happier person, and therefore it's only natural that you want to share where that happiness comes from. So I haven't yet come out, but I'm going to come out,
Yeah.
and I'm going to explain how you, James, have really released me, and I think so many others can be released as well.
Amazing. Thank you. Well, thanks, guys. It was wonderful to have dinner with you guys here in London, England, of all places. Evan's visiting from the States. Christian, of course, lives here between Cheshire in the north of England and London. And it's been a real gift for me to be able to spend time with two guys who I admire so much. So thank you. It's been a wonderful night.
Thank you.
I'll hit pause now and I'll continue the podcast solo as I say goodbye to these fine gentlemen. So I've just left the hotel, having said goodbye. The hotel, the correct hotel name actually is the Kimpton Fitzroy London, right around the corner from Russell Square Tube Station in central London, for those who are familiar with London. And if you're not familiar with London, it's very much central London. It's a beautiful 5-star hotel, and we just had a steak dinner, alcohol-free, catching up. Evan, the American voice that you heard, is actually visiting London for a week with some friends. He went to a Tottenham Hotspur Premier League football game this weekend, and one of the NFL games was on this weekend, so he was in town, and we got together and caught up. And Christian, as I referenced before, lives between London and Cheshire, and yeah, so that was the first time those two had met. But interestingly, Christian, the Englishman, his podcast episode had been heard by Evan some time ago. So Evan actually knew of Christian, having listened to that podcast episode, and so he got to enjoy meeting him in person and talking about his story. Now, those podcast episodes, if you go back towards the end of last year, early this year, and look for a show title that says "Widower Sails Across the Ocean," something like that. That is the story of Christian, whose late wife Jilly passed away, and a tribute to her, he learned how to sail and sailed across the ocean from the west coast of Africa over to the Caribbean. Wonderful, heartfelt episode, if you like to go back and listen to that. And if you go back and look for Evan Melcher, I believe Evan's been on the show twice, so if you just look for anything that has Evan Melcher in the title, maybe a year ago, you'll find that. You can also go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/Evan, and that will redirect you to a LinkedIn article that Evan wrote when he was celebrating 1 year alcohol-free. Now, he's more than 2 years currently, but you can read the LinkedIn article that he wrote about his journey being 1 year alcohol-free, which got so many likes and comments and shares, and really is an inspirational story. So as I'm walking through the streets here at 10:24 p.m. in central London, I just wanted to, share with you guys what it's like to have an alcohol-free meal with people who are also alcohol-free, where everyone's alcohol-free. I mean, the depth of conversation is so good. There's no need to indulge in wine or spirits or anything like that. The conversation just flows. It's pleasant. We talk about feelings and our euphoric moments and sad moments and our fears and our resistance around things. Like I said, the depth of conversation is just so enriching for me, in particular, to get to know these gentlemen on a personal level without the influence of a drug that we call alcohol. It's just not necessary. And at no point did the conversation feel awkward. Did anyone feel uncomfortable? At least I didn't sense that. And yet most of society, I would submit, are thinking that they need to share a bottle of wine in order to create camaraderie or a bond, or to get the conversation flowing, or for people to open up. And when I say we're, I mean as a society, we're constantly depending on this bottle of alcohol this bottle of attractively packaged poison to get us through social situations. Whereas when you learn the alcohol-free lifestyle method, as these two gentlemen did, you're free to just be. You're free to converse and have fun and engage without the need of a substance to open up. I mean, even introverts, even people who are incredibly shy, who may naturally want to reach for a substance to help them be less introverted or less shy, can throw away the alcohol for good once they learn this method. So even if you're shy or introverted, going into a restaurant or to a situation where there are people, you can stop looking to alcohol to help you relax and instead just go in, be alcohol-free and relax. And certainly speaking to the hundreds of clients who've gone through our Project 90 process, I hear very similar patterns of verbiage or language. You heard it when Christian and Evan were speaking there. They use words like free. They use phrases like their productivity is soared. You hear them talk about feeling more connected to their family. Evan was talking about going on a trip with his 10-year-old son to Alaska, and a father-son trip, and just being so connected to him and just having such a memorable experience with him. Christian is now a new grandfather. He had his first grandchild in August and another one just a few weeks ago in October as we were recording this. And Christian just yesterday, celebrated 2 years alcohol-free. And you heard the passion in his voice and what he was talking about as to the profound benefits that being alcohol-free has had on his life. So I know it sounds like at times when I'm on this episode that I'm trying to persuade you, the listener, to live an alcohol-free life. I mean, my preference would be you guys would just naturally persuade yourselves. But for those who need persuading, I hope that listening to these gentlemen talk about their life before and after alcohol is enough to really start getting you pondering, hey, is it time that I did something about this? Can I do this? And even if it's just a baby step where you take a week off or a couple weeks off just to get the ball rolling, or maybe it's just reducing to begin with. Whatever you can do is going to be better, I submit, than what might be happening with you currently, which is stress, anxiety, poor sleep, irritation, caused in part or entirely by alcohol. It's interesting because Evan was saying that he used to be on stress and anxiety medication, and then as soon as he went alcohol-free, he got off the medication and the stress and anxiety disappeared. Christian told a similar story. The high stress, high anxiety, stopped drinking, stress and anxiety just fell away. So if you're someone who suffers from stress, anxiety, you're easily irritable, cranky, if there's something not quite right, even though things should be quite right, that could be the fact that you've got stress and anxiety in part caused by the attractively packaged poison that is alcohol. Another common thing I hear from people is they're hiding their drinking from people, or they're hiding the problems that drinking causes from people. Maybe they're kind of like hiding in plain sight. They're drinking with colleagues or family or friends or a corporate golf days, and they're drinking and they're not getting drunk, but they're drinking enough that it is causing that stress and anxiety and irritability, and so they feel like they're acting, they're putting on a face, they're pretending that they have their life all together. Now I submit we're all acting in life. Some a lot, some not as much, but a very common thing I hear from people is that they're acting, they're pretending, they're wearing a mask, that their life is all together when secretly they are stressed, anxious, irritable, marriage strain, not connected with their kids, overwhelmed from work, and they're going home from work each day and they're drinking alcohol to try and create some kind of relief. Now, the reality is that relief is temporary and it's illusionary. It creates temporary, illusionary relief. And the challenge is that, of course, especially if you're drinking close to bedtime, while it's true that the drinking may in fact help you fall asleep, the quality of your sleep will be so severely compromised that you are irritable and stressed and anxious the next day. And then, of course, when you're stressed and anxious the next day, you want to eat a sugary food to give you some energy. Then you put on some unwanted body fat, and then you lose your self-confidence, and then you're looking forward to the end of the day when you can seek refuge from the pain and suffering of being you and drink alcohol again, and then the cycle continues. In fact, you're actually better off drinking alcohol anywhere close to, you're better off drinking alcohol for breakfast than you are anywhere close to bedtime if a great night's sleep is your goal, because at least if you drink alcohol for breakfast, I should say, your body will have 16 hours to try to work to get rid of the toxins so you can then fall asleep the way nature intended you to sleep. The problem is that most people are drinking close to bedtime and their sleep is just destroyed. Even if you think you're sleeping through the night, the quality of your sleep is so poor that that's why you wake up in the morning feeling like, excuse my French, crap, and this vicious stop-start cycle continues. So, yeah, I know I interviewed a gentleman tonight before I went and met Evan and Christian for dinner by the name of Dan Go. So keep an eye out for that podcast episode that should be coming out soon if it hasn't already. And Dan's a great friend of mine. He's 40, has a lovely wife, 2 daughters. And he's someone who used to drink a lot, smoke cigarettes, have many unhealthy habits, but he has successfully turned his life around, is now alcohol-free himself for the past, I think it's been a year and a half now. And you can just see it in him. I mean, he looks terrific, he's fit, he's healthy, his skin is glowing, loves his family. And when we were having this podcast interview, he was just so present and so connected. Now compare that to, say, someone else who's drinking. They tend to be agitated, flinching, moving, not present, because alcohol creates that stress and that anxiety and that irritability and that agitation in the nervous system. As soon as you drink alcohol, the body now wants to get rid of it because they know it's a toxin. The body knows that it's a toxin. Counter that with someone who's alcohol-free, and now we just get to be and behave the way that nature always intended. It's a very noisy car. I'm just walking here around University College of London, UCL. It's one of the top universities in the world, actually. It's a little noisy here at 10:34 at night as I'm walking down Gower Place in central London. But I just wanted to just share some of my thoughts after I had that dinner with Christian and Evan, share that with you in the hope that those who still feel they need persuading, hopefully this has persuaded you even more. Just a reminder that if you would like to go through our 90-day stop drinking process, we actually got unconfirmed reports this week from the University of Washington that our stop drinking process has a 98% success rate. Now, just to give you a little bit more context on that, in first quarter 2023, the University of Washington did a scientific study on our 90-day stop drinking process to see what effect our stop drinking program would have on study participants. And the professor, his name is Christopher Barnes, phoned me the other night and told me that there was a 98% success rate of people not drinking in the treatment group compared with the weight group, where most of the people in the weight group were drinking during the time that they were waiting for their program to begin. That sounds a little complicated. I'll explain in a future podcast. The headline is that the university is publishing a paper in February 2024 which will essentially say that our stop drinking process has a 98% success rate. It works. And Christian and Evan are great testaments to that. If you are someone who struggles with drinking and you'd like some professional support, you're welcome to go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/project90, where there's some details. You can schedule a complimentary 20-minute exploratory call. There will be nothing to buy on that call. It's just to see if or how we might be able to support you. Candidly, the demographic of our clients are mostly business owners, executives, entrepreneurs, real estate investors, retirees, let's say articulate, educated, financially comfortable people. They've got the money part of their life sorted out, but other areas of their life they're really struggling. That's really the demographic we help inside of that 90-day stop drinking process. So if that is you and you feel that you are ready to stop drinking now, then you can always go there and book a call. I just invite you not to do that if you just want to do a fun little challenge, or drinking is not like a big struggle for you right now. But if you know that you need to stop drinking, you feel like you must stop drinking now, your drinking is causing you pain and suffering, there's so much to lose. You absolutely know you need support. You cannot do this on your own. You're invited to book the call. Now, having said that, if you're not that demographic that I just described, if you're not a business owner, entrepreneur, then and financially comfortable, and you're not in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, and you're not the demographic I just talked about in regards to the 90-day stop drinking process, we have a 30-day no alcohol challenge. And you can go to 30daynoalcoholchallenge.com, which is a cost-effective 30-day stop drinking program where I'll send you 30 pre-recorded training videos over the course of 30 days, and you'll go into an engaged Facebook group. That's more of a do-it-yourself kind of program. There won't be any live ongoing coaching from some of our certified coaches, but it's 30 of my best pieces of content which will help you to rewire your mindset around alcohol. And then the Facebook group, assuming of course you are on Facebook, a lot of people are not, but the Facebook group has a really engaged community there which will give you some accountability, and it's also a lot of fun. So you can go to 30daynoalcoholchallenge.com to check that out. If you would like a whole bunch of free stuff to read, digest, I would suggest keep listening to the episodes of the podcast. But also you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide, where I will send you my Alcohol Freedom Formula Guide, which has the same process that we take our clients through in Project 90. It's all laid out there for free, and that will also get you on my email newsletter, in which I send 2 or 3 emails a week with tips on how to reduce drinking, how to live a healthier, better life, great mindset, mental health, physical health. So if you'd like to get on that newsletter and receive those emails from me, we've got about 32,000 folks on that email newsletter currently. Then you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide. I think that's it. All right. I should have probably taken a more quiet walk through the London streets. I'm just outside Euston Square Station right now, for those of you who are familiar with London and wondering where I am. Right outside the University College Hospital. So that is it for me, and thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this chat. I hope you enjoyed this walk with me. Thank you for listening to Evan and Christian. I hope you enjoyed their insights into what it's like to be more than 2 years alcohol free. And I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.